toll from the wildfires raging in California has climbed to 31. The flames so intense, the bodies of some victims were reduced to ash and bones. Hundreds of people are still reported missing, and there are fears that winds will spread the flames even further.
Well, fires have raged through California's wine country since Sunday night, destroying at least 3,500 homes and businesses and burning nearly 80,000 hectares throughout the state. Sleep-deprived, soot-covered firefighters are working to contain the wildfires, even as some of their own homes have been hit.
Well, a mandatory evacuation order is in effect for Calistoga, a city of about 5,000 people in Napa Valley.
Our own Dan Simon is closely following the conditions there.
We're on the front lines as firefighters try to keep another town from burning. The fire is coming up this hill. You can see the flames below us. The smoke is billowing. Come on.
Small blinds, only 2 or 3 feet.
In the hills above Calistoga, it is a race to keep up with the flames. Endless fuel in the form of dry trees and brush make it a daunting task.
It's really steep, it's rugged, there's a lot of thick vegetation, there's wind, there's spot fires blowing everywhere.
Controlled burns like this one are meant to block the fire from advancing. But a half-mile down the road, the fire has done just that, inching down this hill towards the community. The team puts it out. They're exhausted. They use fire hoses as rope to make it back up the hill. We find this firefighter trying to catch his breath.
Real sporadic fire behavior. That's about it.
How difficult has it been the last couple days?
It's been busy. Definitely been busy.
This is absolutely the worst fire I've ever seen in California. I think it's because of the amount of people that are affected. You have whole swaths of neighborhoods. It looks like a bomb has gone off. It looks like we've been bombed.
The fires swept through so quickly here, residents say they didn't have time to grab even the most basic belongings.
I took a photo of my brother and me. I lost my brother 11 years ago, and I wanted to make sure I had a photo of us.
Marissa Cruz trying to keep the loss of her 3-bedroom house in perspective.
This is all just stuff. You know, at the end of the day, it's just stuff. But man, the smell is just terrible.
Back on the line, crews working overtime with little or no sleep.
Got about an hour's sleep last night.
You're not able to really get any rest.
No, I mean, you gotta keep up with the fire so that way you can try to save homes, property, lives.
The number of those said to be missing continues to fluctuate, but right now it stands at about 400. A scary number to be sure, but authorities hope it will be pared down as people report that their loved ones have been found safe. Dan Simon, CNN, Calistoga, California.
Long, exhausting days are taking a toll on firefighters. In Santa Rosa, one of the town's fire stations was burned to the ground earlier this week, leaving the crew nowhere to rest, so they headed for the nearest piece of lawn. And in nearby Sebastopol, firefighters curled up on lawn chairs, used rocks for pillows. They just slept on the road. Fire Battalion Chief Mike Moller joins me now on the phone. He is with CAL FIRE, the California Department of Forestry and Fire Destruction. Mike, thank you for taking the time for this update. What is the latest right now in bringing these 21 fires under control, in particular the biggest of them all, the Atlas and the Tubbs fire?
Well, right now we have over 8,000 firefighters on the line battling these fires. We're over 191,000 acres. Unfortunately, in your report, we have over 35 homes and commercial structures that have been confirmed destroyed. And unfortunately, with the fire conditions that we experienced this past week, we expect that number to climb. We are at 3% containment on the Atlas fire. It may seem small, but we have such a large fire. Really, our priorities right now are still to protect life and property.
How concerned are you about this red flag warning for increased wind speeds as the week goes on?
It's very concerning to us. Anytime we have open fire lines, we look at that, let's say that 3% containment on the Atlas fire. That's just a small snapshot of the open fire line that we have. And then when you bring in red flag conditions, and we have to remember that red flag doesn't mean that there's always going to be wind. It also brings those temperatures, but the humidity levels drop into the single digits. So I can tell you, we've ordered additional resources in anticipation of this red flag warning, but it is high on our radar, and we will do everything in our power to hold it to where it's at.
There are reinforcements coming in as well. Is that correct, from out of state?
That is correct. Actually, nationwide, and we have some international resources that will be arriving also to assist with this firefight.
We keep watching this death toll tick upwards. Many of the victims, if you look at the ages here, they seem to be elderly. Are they especially vulnerable in a situation like this?
They can be, absolutely, but regardless of age, this fire in 12 hours had caused so much devastation. You have to remember the fire was being pushed by a sustained wind at 50 miles an hour with gusts at 80 miles an hour. Regardless, if you weren't prepared, it could catch anybody off guard. And unfortunately, as it stands right now, we have 31 that have perished. And again, our hearts and prayers from all first responders are with those families affected by this.
Yeah, if you look at the extent of the destruction so far, it seems almost beyond belief. Are you expecting more lives could be lost and more property will be destroyed before all of this is done?
Well, again, we're doing our best to, prioritize life and property. We do have that missing, unaccounted number right now. That is troubling to us, but we also have to remember that some people that did evacuate may have gone out of the area to stay with family members. That could be a possibility too. And we are hoping for the best, but unfortunately, again, that fire moved so fast and there was so much devastation, that number could possibly rise.
Mike, we wish you all the very best, and thank you once more for taking the time for the update. It is very much appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Well, President Trump, once again,